The resort manager's hand shook as he reached for the mouse. "Mr. Harrison," he said quietly, "I need you to understand. What you're about to see, I'm only showing you because you asked directly." I'd been searching for my wife, Claire, for 3 hours. Her phone was off. Her coworkers said they hadn't seen her since the morning session. We were at her company's annual retreat. Mountain resort, team-building exercises, the whole corporate bonding thing. She'd been excited about it, said it was important for her career. I'd come along as her +1, smiled through the trust falls and networking dinners. Then, during the afternoon break, she vanished. I checked our room, empty. I checked the spa, not there. I checked the restaurant, the pool, the hiking trails. Nothing. That's when I went to the front desk. "My wife," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Claire Harrison, room 412. Have you seen her?" The young clerk looked uncomfortable. Let me get the manager." 5 minutes later, I was in a small office behind the reception area. The manager, a man in his 50s named Richard, closed the door. "Mr. Harrison, I need to ask, are you aware of any issues in your marriage?" My stomach dropped. What kind of question is that? He hesitated. "We have security cameras throughout the property. If you'd like, I can show you where your wife has been this afternoon." "Yes," I said immediately. "Show me." He pulled up the footage. Started at 2:47 p.m. There was Claire, walking through the lobby. She looked around, checking if anyone was watching, then headed toward the elevator. But she didn't press the button for our floor. She pressed 6, the executive suites. Richard fast-forwarded. The timestamp jumped to 2:52 p.m. Claire stepped out on the 6th floor, walked down the hallway, stopped at room 604. Knocked. The door opened. A man appeared, tall, suit jacket off, tie loosened. I recognized him immediately. "That's her boss," I said, my voice hollow. "That's Daniel Mercer." Richard said nothing. On screen, Claire smiled, said something I couldn't hear, then stepped inside. The door closed. Richard looked at me. "Mr. Harrison, that was 3 hours ago." My hands were numb. "Is she still in there?" He checked another camera. "Yes." The till tilted. I stood up. "What's the room number again?" "Mr. Harrison, I don't think—" "What is the number?" He swallowed. 604. I walked out of that office with one thought burning in my mind. 3 hours. If you want to know what I found when I knocked on that door and why what happened next destroyed more than just my marriage, hit subscribe, because the footage was just the beginning. My name is Nathan Harrison. I'm 39 years old, and until 3 days ago, I thought I had a solid marriage. I'm a civil engineer. I design bridges, highways, infrastructure projects that take years to complete. I'm good at my job. I'm methodical. I plan for stress loads, weather patterns, worst-case scenarios. I thought I'd planned for everything in my marriage, too. I was wrong.
Claire and I met 10 years ago at a friend's wedding. She was in marketing, sharp, ambitious, the kind of woman who could work a room without breaking a sweat. I was the quiet guy in the corner, nursing a beer, watching the crowd like I was studying a blueprint. She approached me. "You look like you're calculating the structural integrity of this tent." I laughed. "Actually, I was. These poles are rated for wind speeds up to 40 miles per hour. We're fine." She grinned. "You're weird. I like it." We got married 2 years later. For a long time, it was good. Different schedules, different worlds, but we made it work. She climbed the corporate ladder at Meridian Solutions, a mid-sized marketing firm in Denver. I worked on projects across Colorado, sometimes gone for weeks at a time. We trusted each other, or at least I trusted her. The company retreat was her idea. "It's at that resort in Vail," she said, showing me the email. 3 days, team building, strategy sessions, spouses are invited. I looked at my project schedule. I've got a site inspection that week. "Can you move it?" I could. It would be tight, but I could. "Why is it important?" I asked. She hesitated. "Daniel's going to announce the new VP of marketing. I think I have a shot." Daniel Mercer, her boss. I'd met him twice. Firm handshake, expensive watch, the kind of guy who says synergy without irony. "That's great," I said. "I'll be there." Her face lit up. "Really?" "Of course. I want to support you." She kissed me. "Thank you. This could change everything for us." She had no idea how right she was. We drove up to Vail on a Thursday morning. The resort was one of those places that screams corporate money. Vaulted ceilings, stone fireplaces, mountain views that belong on postcards. Our room was nice. King bed, balcony overlooking the slopes, minibar stocked with overpriced snacks. Claire was buzzing with energy. "I need to make a good impression. Network, show face, you know?" "I know. You'll be okay on your own sometimes, right? Some of the sessions are employees only." "I'll survive. I brought a book." She kissed my cheek. "You're the best." The first day was fine. Morning session, lunch, afternoon workshops. I tagged along where I could, hung back when I couldn't. I met some of her coworkers. They were friendly enough. Talked about campaigns and client wins and office politics I didn't understand. That night, there was a dinner. Formal, speeches, awards. Claire sat at the head table with the senior staff. I was at a table in the back with other spouses. I watched her laugh at something Daniel said, watched him lean in close to whisper something back. It didn't bother me. Not then. I trusted her.
The second day started the same. Morning session, team building exercises. I opted out of the trust falls and did some work emails in the lobby. At lunch, Claire found me. "Hey, how's it going?" "Good. You?" "Great. Daniel pulled me aside this morning. He said he's impressed with my work." "That's good, right?" "Really good." She was glowing. "I think the VP thing is real." "I'm proud of you," I said. She squeezed my hand. "I have to get back. Afternoon session starts in 10. I'll see you at dinner." She kissed me quickly and left. That was 1:45 p.m. By 5 p.m., I hadn't seen her. I tried texting, no response. I called, straight to voicemail. I went to the conference room where the afternoon session had been, empty. I asked one of her coworkers, a woman named Jenna, "Have you seen Claire?" "Not since lunch," Jenna said. "She left the session early, said she wasn't feeling well." My chest tightened. "She's not in our room." Jenna frowned. "Maybe she went for a walk? The trails are nice." I checked the trails. Nothing. I checked the spa, the gym, the restaurant. By 6 p.m., I was starting to panic. That's when I went to the front desk. The young clerk looked nervous when I asked about Claire. "Let me get the manager," he said. Richard appeared a few minutes later. Mid-50s, graying hair, the kind of calm professionalism that comes from years of dealing with difficult guests. "Mr. Harrison, how can I help?" "My wife is missing. Claire Harrison, room 412. I haven't seen her in hours." He nodded slowly. "Let me check something." He led me to a small office behind the desk, closed the door. "Mr. Harrison, before I show you anything, I need to ask, are you aware of any issues in your marriage?" The question hit like a punch. "What? No. Why would you ask that?" He sat down at a computer. "We have security footage throughout the property. If you'd like, I can show you where your wife has been this afternoon." My mouth went dry. "Yes, show me." He pulled up the footage. The screen showed the lobby. Timestamp, 2:47 p.m. There was Claire, walking through the main entrance. She looked around, left, right, behind her, like she was checking if anyone was watching. Then she walked to the elevator. Richard fast-forwarded. The elevator doors opened. Claire stepped inside. She pressed a button. Not 4, our floor. She pressed 6. The 6th floor is executive suites, reserved for senior staff. The footage switched to a hallway camera, timestamp 2:52 p.m. Claire stepped out of the elevator, walked down the hall, stopped at room 604, knocked. The door opened. A man appeared, tall, dark hair, white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, Daniel Mercer. Claire smiled, said something I couldn't hear. Daniel stepped aside. She walked in. The door closed. Richard looked at me. That was 3 hours ago. I couldn't breathe. Is she still in there? He checked another camera, nodded. Yes. I stood up. My legs felt like they weren't mine. What's the room number? Mr. Harrison, what's the number? 604.
I walked out of that office, through the lobby, to the elevator. My hands were shaking as I pressed 6. The elevator climbed. Each floor felt like an hour. When the doors opened, the hallway was empty, quiet, thick carpet that swallowed sound. I walked to 604, stood there, raised my hand, knocked. For a long moment, nothing. Then I heard movement inside, muffled voices. The door opened a crack. Daniel's face appeared. His shirt was untucked, hair messed up. "Can I help you?" he said, annoyed. "I'm looking for my wife." His face went pale. "Claire?" I called past him. "Are you in there?" Silence. Then her voice, small and shaky. "Nathan?" The door opened wider. There she was, sitting on the edge of the bed, hair disheveled, shoes off, blouse wrinkled. She looked at me like a deer in headlights. "Nathan, I can explain." "Explain what?" My voice was calm, too calm. "Explain why you've been in your boss's hotel room for 3 hours?" Daniel stepped forward. "Look, this isn't—" "Shut up," I said, still looking at Claire. "I'm not talking to you." She stood up. "Nathan, please, let me—" "Let you what?" I interrupted. "Let you lie? Let you spin this into something it's not?" Tears started down her face. "It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" She opened her mouth, closed it. Daniel tried again. "We were just talking." I finally looked at him. In a hotel room for 3 hours with the door locked. He had no answer. I turned back to Claire. "I want you to say it, out loud. What were you doing here?" She was crying now, full sobs. "Nathan, please." "Say it." We... "Say it, Claire." Her voice broke. "We were having an affair." The words hung in the air like smoke. I nodded slowly. "How long?" "Nathan." "How long?" She wiped her face. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year. While I was working late, while I was out on job sites, while I was trusting her. "Does anyone else know?" She shook her head. "No, we've been careful." "Careful," I repeated. "Right, that's why you're in his hotel room at a company retreat." Daniel cleared his throat. "Look, I think we should all—" "I think you should shut the fuck up," I said, my voice still eerily calm, "because right now, the only thing stopping me from breaking your jaw is the fact that I don't want to go to jail." He stepped back. I looked at Claire one more time. "Pack your things. We're leaving." "Nathan, can we please talk?" "No," I said. "We're done talking. Pack your things. Meet me in the lobby in 20 minutes. I walked out, closed the door, stood in that empty hallway, and finally let myself feel it. The rage came first, hot and sharp. Then the humiliation. Everyone at this retreat probably knew, probably whispered about it. Then something colder. Clarity. I pulled out my phone, opened the voice recorder, walked back to room 604, knocked again. Daniel opened it, frustrated. "What now?" "I need to hear it from you," I said, "for the record." "Hear what?" "That you've been sleeping with my wife." He glanced back at Claire. "I don't think—" "Say it," I pressed, "or I walk into that lobby and tell everyone at this retreat what's been going on." His jaw clenched. "Fine. Yes, we've been seeing each other." "For how long?" 6 months. "And you knew she was married?" "Yes." "Thank you," I said. I stopped the recording, walked away. Claire met me in the lobby 18 minutes later, eyes red, suitcase in hand. We didn't speak. We got in the car. I drove. The 2-hour drive back to Denver was silent except for her occasional sob. I didn't comfort her. I didn't yell. I just drove. When we got home, I parked in the driveway. "Nathan," she started. "I'm staying at a hotel tonight," I said. "Tomorrow, I'm calling a lawyer. You can stay here or leave, I don't care, but this marriage is over." "Please, can we just—" "No," I said. "There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice 6 months ago. I'm just catching up." I got out, grabbed my bag from the trunk, walked to my truck, drove to a Holiday Inn off I-25, checked in, sat on the edge of the bed, and finally let myself break. But breaking wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Because the next morning, I got a call from an unknown number. "Mr. Harrison?" "Yes." "This is Amanda Cross. I'm an attorney with Whittemore and Associates. I represent Meridian Solutions." My stomach dropped. "Okay." "We've become aware of a situation involving your wife and one of our senior executives. We'd like to meet with you to discuss it." "Why?" "Because, Mr. Harrison, what happened at that retreat violates several company policies, and we need to understand the full scope before we proceed." I sat up. Proceed with what? "Termination. Possibly legal action. It depends on what we find." A slow smile spread across my face. "When can we meet?" The meeting was the next day. Downtown Denver, glass tower, conference room with a view. Amanda Cross was in her 40s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. Across from her sat 2 other attorneys and an HR director named Patricia. "Mr. Harrison, thank you for coming." "It is." "We need to ask you some questions, and we need you to be completely honest." "I will be." She opened a folder. "How long have you been aware of the relationship between your wife and Mr. Mercer?" 3 days. "And prior to that you had no knowledge?" "None." "Did your wife ever mention Mr. Mercer in a romantic context?" "No. She talked about him as her boss, said he was mentoring her." Patricia made a note. Amanda continued. "At the retreat, when you discovered them together, what exactly did you see?"
I described it. The footage, the room, the conversation. "Do you have any evidence of this?" Amanda asked. I pulled out my phone, played the recording. Daniel's voice filled the room. "Yes, we've been seeing each other." The attorneys exchanged looks. "Mr. Harrison," Amanda said carefully, "are you willing to provide this recording to us?" "Yes." "And would you be willing to testify if necessary?" "Absolutely." She nodded. "Thank you. This is very helpful. Can I ask what you're planning to do?" Amanda leaned back. "Daniel Mercer is a senior executive. He has a fiduciary duty to this company. Engaging in a relationship with a subordinate, especially one he supervises, is a violation of our ethics policy." "So, you're firing him?" "We're conducting an investigation, but yes, termination is likely." "And Claire?" Patricia spoke up. "Mrs. Harrison is also subject to our ethics policy. However, as the subordinate in the relationship, the power dynamic is complicated." "Meaning?"
Meaning she may have been coerced or pressured. We need to investigate that possibility. I laughed bitterly. She wasn't coerced, trust me. Even so, Amanda said, we have to follow protocol. I stood up. Do what you need to do. I just want this over with. 2 weeks later, Daniel Mercer was fired. The official reason, violation of company ethics policy. The unofficial reason, everyone knew. Claire was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. She called me every day. I didn't answer. She texted. I didn't respond. She showed up at my hotel. I had the front desk turn her away. Finally, she stopped. A month after the retreat, I met with my lawyer. His name was Greg Paulson, 50-something, gray beard, the kind of guy who'd seen every divorce trick in the book. Nathan, he said, I'm going to be straight with you. Colorado is a no-fault state. The affair doesn't impact the division of assets. I know. But, he continued, it does impact alimony. Given that she was the one who violated the marriage, and given that her income was higher than yours, you're in a good position. I don't want her money, I said. I just want out. I understand, but you should know your options. He slid a paper across the desk. This is what I'm proposing. Clean split. You keep your retirement, she keeps hers. You keep your truck, she keeps her car. The house gets sold, proceeds split 50-50. And alimony? None for either party. I looked at the paper. She'll agree to this? If she's smart, yes, because the alternative is we go to trial and I put Daniel Mercer on the stand. I smiled. Do it. Claire's lawyer called 2 days later. She agreed to the terms. No trial, no drama, just signatures and a judge's stamp. 60 days later, I was divorced. The house sold quickly. We split the proceeds, $140,000 each. I used mine as a down payment on a small condo in Boulder. 2 bedrooms, mountain view, quiet. I threw myself into work, picked up extra projects, stayed late. My coworkers noticed. You okay, Nathan? I'm fine, I'd say, just busy. But I wasn't fine. I was hollow. Not because I missed Claire, I didn't, but because 10 years of my life had been built on a lie, and I didn't know how to trust again.
6 months after the divorce, I got a message on LinkedIn. Hi, Nathan. You don't know me, but I think we should talk. My name is Rachel Mercer. I'm Daniel's wife. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I clicked accept. We met at a coffee shop in Denver, neutral brown. Rachel was in her late 30s, blonde, tired eyes. She sat down across from me. Thank you for meeting me. I wasn't sure I should, I admitted. I understand. She wrapped her hands around her cup. I wanted to say I'm sorry for what Daniel did, for what they both did. You don't need to apologize for him. I know, but I feel like I should. She paused. I found out about the affair the same day you did. Daniel came home from the retreat and confessed. Why? Because he knew he was about to be fired. He wanted to control the narrative. I nodded. Sounds like him. I filed for divorce 2 weeks later, she said. It was finalized last month. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was the right choice. She looked at me. I wanted to meet you because, I don't know, I guess I wanted to see if you were okay. I'm getting there, I said. You? Same. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Rachel said, Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you regret trusting her? I thought about it. No, I regret that she wasn't worth trusting, but I don't regret being the kind of person who does. She smiled sadly. That's a good answer. Rachel and I stayed in touch. Not romantic, just 2 people who understood. We'd meet for coffee every few weeks, talk about work, life, healing. She was kind, funny, real. One day, about a year after we first met, she said, I'm going to Italy next month, solo trip. I need to do something just for me. That sounds amazing. You should come, she said suddenly. I blinked. What? Not like a romantic thing, just 2 friends who've been through hell, taking a trip, no pressure.
I thought about it. Okay. Really? Really? Italy was beautiful. Rome, Florence, the Amalfi Coast. We ate pasta, drank wine, walked through ancient streets, and somewhere between the Colosseum and the Uffizi Gallery, I realized something. I was laughing again. Not forcing it, not faking it. Really laughing. One night, sitting on a terrace overlooking the Mediterranean, Rachel turned to me. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For reminding me that not all men are like Daniel." I smiled. "Thank you for reminding me that not all women are like Claire."
We clinked our glasses, and for the first time in a long time, the future didn't feel heavy. It felt open. I'm not going to tell you Rachel and I fell in love and lived happily ever after, because life isn't a movie. But I will tell you this: we're still friends. We still take trips. We still laugh. And maybe one day it'll become something more. Or maybe it won't. Either way, I'm okay. Because I learned something from that hotel footage, from that closed door, from that terrible moment in the hallway. You can't control other people's choices. You can only control your response. Claire chose to cheat. Daniel chose to betray his wife. I chose to walk away with my dignity. And that choice made all the difference. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever stood in a hallway with your heart breaking, if you've ever had to choose between rage and dignity, this one's for you. Comment, "I chose dignity," if this story hit home. Hit subscribe for more stories about the strength it takes to walk away. Because the best revenge isn't destroying them, it's rebuilding yourself.